Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. Today we are going to talk about this beautiful plant, which we actually have talked about before. And if you haven't seen my video on the 3 uses for mullein, I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description box below so you can go ahead and check that out. But today we're going to focus just on the flowers because they're opening up and they're beautiful and abundant. We're going to take these flowers here and we're going to harvest a bunch of these, and then we're going to take it and put it in a bunch of olive oil and let it sit, and then we will have a medicinal oil for the ear to help with ear infections and ear pain. Okay, now I've been planting, so my hands are kind of filthy. You have to forgive me, but this is what we're after here, the open flowers. And honestly, I pick the ones that are just about to open or just starting to open as well. Now, when you are using the mullein flowers, the flower itself is fine, but the seeds inside are toxic. So we don't want to be ingesting the seeds. Now, using them in ear oil, it's fine, but you really don't want to be mixing your buds, your blossoms, in with the other forms that we're going to use mullein in. So in teas and in tinctures, we don't want to be doing that. All right, so here we are with our mullein harvest. You got a few more you're finding? You finding more, Evie? Yeah. Okay. She's gonna finish up and we're gonna take all of these home and we are gonna make our mullein oil.
Yay, oils.
Okay, so now we're back at home and I've got all of the flowers that I'm gonna use all rinsed and clean. Make sure there are no lingering bugs and pests in there. Got my own hands clean from planting for so long. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make just a little half-pint amount. We don't use too much of this, and everything else that I don't use, I'm gonna go ahead and stick in the dehydrator. I've gotta swap some stuff out here, and we're gonna save those for another time. I'm gonna keep this stored in the fridge and it'll be good for about 6 months or so. We don't use too much of this. I really only have one child that has any kind of reoccurring issues with his ears. And it's mainly just because he has a lot of allergies, and seasonal really changes things like that. Anything that will trigger his sinuses and his allergies, it goes right into his ears. So this is really helpful for helping with the discomfort that comes along with that. And every once in a while it'll brew into an ear infection. So we like to kind of head it off, and this will help with that pain, discomfort, and any brewing infection that is happening. So I've got all of these. What I'm gonna do is I am going to fill up my mullein. This is it. Super simple. I'm not gonna pack it down, but I'm gonna put enough in there. Here we go, about like that. That's what I'm doing here. And then some of that, and the rest of these I'm just gonna stick in the dehydrator here. And then I've got plain old olive oil that I get from Costco. That's it. I don't do extra virgin olive oil. I do regular olive oil. It has to do with the water ratio. So we're going to just fill it up. And I fill it up to the top because then the lid helps push that down, because you want your herb to be underneath your oil, okay? So I'm gonna put a lid on this, and that's gonna keep it pushed down. And then we're just gonna give this a shake every day. We're gonna keep it in a cool, dark place and let it infuse for about a month, and then we will have our mullein oil. And then to use this, all you do is take a couple drops of it. Of course, you're gonna strain it first. So we're gonna strain it and then we're gonna have our mullein oil. And we'll just take a little dropper and I'll put just 1 to 2 drops inside his ear canal and just kind of rub it around. And that'll help with the pain, discomfort that comes along with all of those issues, and help him feel better. So yeah, mullein oil this time of year is a great time to go pick your mullein flowers. If you are going to be harvesting wild, if you want to wild craft this, you can totally do that, because mullein grows all over the place, especially in wasteland areas, in ditches, on the side of the road. However, you don't want to harvest your herbs from the side of the road. All of the runoff and spray, if they're spraying for mosquitoes or spraying if you're in a farm area, they'll spray and you get all that nasty stuff in there. And it totally negates all of the medicinal properties. So it's like getting rid of all of that. It defeats the purpose, right? So you don't want to wildcraft herbs on the side of the road, not to mention exhaust from cars, roadside pollutants. You don't want to do that. So if you're going to be harvesting mullein flowers, any parts of any kind of herb, you want to make sure that you are in a good area that is safe from any kind of spray and that is legal for you to be harvesting from. So just look at your local ordinances and see where you can find this beautiful plant. I've seen it in parks, I've seen it in friends' backyards. If we didn't grow it and it didn't grow wild on our property, I'd have plenty of places to harvest from. And it is way easier than you think. And now that you know all about this magical little herb, you'll see it everywhere. So if anyone in your family suffers from any kind of earache, ear pressures, ear pains, this is a great herb to have in your apothecary.